Let's go to the Cavs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns enough. The Cavs, I was at the game last night. Now, I almost was lulled to sleep. Donovan Mitchell was that good. I thought they're going to coast to victory. They were up 7 with 47 seconds to go, and then Donovan Mitchell, after scoring 30, I don't know what happened to him. I mean, it was mental mistakes, physical mistakes. It was like the basket had a lid on it for the entire team the last 4 minutes. But as bad as he was the last 47 seconds, really the last couple of minutes,
overtime,
he was that good in overtime. They win 117-107. They're 2-1. Mitchell has 100 points in his first three games.
Yeah.
It breaks Austin Carr's record of 90 in the first 3 games to start a career with the Cavaliers.
Check out this stat real quick.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat right here.
I know. Look at the company that he's in. That's insane. He said afterwards that he actually was really impressed with the crowd, and I was too. It was a good crowd. It was a loud crowd. Jared Allen, 15 points, 13 boards, was a force in the middle, had a couple of key blocks.
Excellent energy.
Big
Excellent
blocks.
energy.
Jetty's been real good the first
Jetty
3
was
games.
great.
I
know. I almost texted Jason. I'm
Jason
like, are you
hates
buying
him.
Jetty? I know.
I don't hate
You
him.
hate him.
I don't hate
He's
him.
playing well, though.
How much longer you got to play
Now,
like this before you jump on the
Jason,
wagon?
the reality is it's 3 NBA games, so it means 0.
Right. What's the
It's
sample
completely
size,
meaningless.
right?
But he is playing well through 3 games.
some big shots.
And there's enough talent around him that, he can deliver in pockets. It's when again, going back to the Brian Hartline, another coach has said it, when you ask guys to do things that they're not capable of doing, that's where you get in trouble. And at times, this organization, because of lack of talent around him, has put Jetty into situations that he's just not capable
Fair.
of.
Well,
But in this role,
But now they can.
Well,
I just don't want him on the floor with the game on the floor.
agreed.
I love their second line. I mean, when they come in with Love, and Jetty was, I think they mixed and matched well last night. But I think that's going to win them a lot of games this year.
I think Lopez.
Lopez
Lopez come in and put
the first game. Lopez didn't play, and I said on the air, I said, I hope we go to Lopez here because that's the second group that brings you energy. Now you see that. The other thing here, the reason why it's flowing so well, and I give Donovan Mitchell a hell of a lot of credit because he's holding the glue together while Garland is out. Right?
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have to go for 30 when Garland
That's
is
exactly
here.
it.
Does not have to, but to have the luxury of having a player like that is, it makes the load easier for a whole bunch of people.
Sure.
Right? Because in overtime down the stretch, give it to him.
And ultimately,
Give it to him.
It gives you a second option for scoring.
Like here.
Because I thought the last 4 minutes, that's why they went cold the last 4 minutes, because Washington said, we're not worried about anybody else. We're going to stop Mitchell, and they did.
And when Garland's back, he won't
reminded
be able
me
to
of
do
the
that.
Atlanta game last year and down the stretch last year when they needed points late. They couldn't get them.
I will point to one point in that game when it was going down to the wire, after the last shot, 25 seconds ago on the clock, right? They put the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hand.
Yeah.
Everybody in the building knew where it was going.
That's true.
Right? And then he got the shot of the day because he crossed the dude over so sweetly.
Lost his defender. I thought, wow.
And all he had to do was make the shot. But to have that type of person in your lineup is a luxury. Garland and them don't even know what kind of luxury it is yet.
And there's a lot of people that was mad about Colin Sexton and Laurie Marketing.
That's embarrassing.
I would just want to let y'all know, man, it's levels to this thing, bro. You seeing the levels right now. I like Colin. He plays hard. He got a good skill set. But when you got that skill set, he got that shake where it's like, oh, no, I'm over here. I get over here. I'm Euro stepping. I got to step back. In crunch time, you automatically just see it. It seemed like a spot shadow just go.
The other thing, he doesn't panic. He didn't panic.
No, he
did
didn't.
not
And they
panic.
respond to him.
Hold on.
He
Did I hear, Jay,
respond.
did I hear, because I wasn't in the booth last night, but did I hear this, the chance of MVP ringing out that door?
did.
Did I hear that? Did I hear that?
I was in the building.
Are we really
now
having
go now,
MVP
Jason. Go now,
conversations
Jason.
every
Here,
3 games?
we're not
I need you to
saying
hype
that
that
he's the MVP, but we're saying
Yeah.
people in
He's
the
playing
buil-
at that level.
People in the building realize what you have at your
I
fingertips.
mean, they chanted MVP for Delhi, so let's not get wrapped up in
People
it.
are embarrassed.
Yeah, but that was just an affectionate MVP.
That's my guy.
Although I will
That's
say
my
I was a
boy.
little disappointed the crowd couldn't get in sync. It was like this half of the arena was M, this half of the arena was V, and that half of the arena was P. I'm like, come on, guys, get together.
Let's face it, guys. The reality of the NBA, unlike any other sport, Adam Silver doesn't want to discuss it. Nobody in the NBA wants to discuss it. The entire regular season is the preseason.
Yes.
The
Yes,
entire regular
absolutely.
season is the preseason. It's meaningless.
can learn something
Everybody
from
makes
it.
the
You
playoffs.
can
No,
learn something
I don't
from
think you
it.
learn anything from
No,
it.
Brad.
I don't think you learn anything from it.
You learn something.
Maybe when you played,
From
Brad,
the-
I think it's
from
changed.
those 82 games, it's a little different now. But those 82 games, you learn a lot. What we needed here was we had this young core
Right.
core, and you saw it in the play-in last year. They didn't know what to do.
Right?
Now they have a guy that knows what to do.
Sure.
Now this is what I'm looking for now. Garland's game going to elevate. It's going to be a different
That's
elevation.
why it matters with them.
Mobley,
Getting that-
you can see this from Mobley. Mobley is still learning,
Yeah.
right? He
Yep.
gives you the cushion now that you can learn. Because he tried some things last night. I said, oh.
He's worked on some moves in
I
the
said,
offseason.
oh, I didn't see that before.
That
thought the same thing.
the left-hand finish on the break.
I saw
said,
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you've been
All
working
right,
on?
let me
And just some
rephrase.
moves, some
Let me
footwork.
rephrase. The wins and losses don't really matter, ultimately.
I think
the
that-
regular season.
Position
For home court.
But the specific, how much does it mean?
Here's the point
Yeah.
you're trying to make. It's a completely different animal in the postseason.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, don't put
Because
too much into
the
it.
games come so fast in the regular season.
There's no
This
question.
assistant has this scout this night.
There's no question.
And Brad,
You know, I know.
You know this better than
Yeah.
anybody. You walk in at 45 minutes before the game. You see the key points on the whiteboard. You go out and you play the game. Done. Move on to the next
What you're
one.
playing
And
the
it's
regular
not like
season,
that at
what
all
you're
in
playing for the
postseason.
regular season is for mental domination. I want you to just know this. When you see me, this is what you're going to get, right? Right? And so, because when we go to a 7-game series, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's different. But I want to know, leave some imprint in your mind. When you see me, when I'm checking Bird, you think Bird thinking about, you know I go for 30 out here, right? I might go for 35. You keep talking.
How do you?
What's the best trash talk Bird ever gave you?
Oh! I'll give you a good one. You want a good one?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a real good one. I'm going at him in Chicago. I'm giving him some numbers, 20, 22. Them good numbers against Bird, right? So Bird, he has the ball in the corner. Parrish is in the post. He drops in the Parrish. So you know you have to dig back and help Bill Cartwright in the post on Parrish, right? Parrish kicks the ball back out to Bird, who's in the deep corner. Deep. I come flying out of Bird. You know I'm 7 foot, so I gotta reach on him. Bird was always concerned. So he shoots the thing with the high archer, right? As I'm in the air, right? I'm in the air coming to block it, right? He shoots it way over my hand. The first thing this is what he says. He hadn't even hit the ground yet. I'm still in the air. This is what he says as he lets it go. Wasted energy.
That wasted energy.
It went in, too, didn't it?
And it did like this. Whop.
I'm stealing that. I'm using that all the
that's
time.
good.
Wasted
That's good.
energy, bro. That's crazy.
Did it piss you off, or did you actually have to laugh?
I was laughing.
Who was best trash talker in your era?
Oh, Bird was classic because Bird wasn't overt with it. It was real quiet. So I like the game. One other game, I always gave Bird some good games, right? So I get hot on Bird. So Bird, I'm giving some buckets, right? We run down the court. You just me and him, boy, run down.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna get hot now, huh? I'm gonna show you what hot looks like. And then he go, boom, 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 boom. He said, that's what hot looks like.
He knew how to flip that switch.
Oh, man.
I'll ask y'all two a question. Do you think JB will consider not? Last year they played defense the whole year, right?
Yeah.
And when they got to the playoffs, it looked like, or the end of the season, that's when other teams start ramping up and be like, okay, we'll play defense now. Yeah. And I thought the Cavs was a little bit tired last year. Do you think they will be as hard on the defensive end as they were last year, or he'll kind of coast it and try to ratchet it up, or is that what they got to do to be successful?
They ain't accomplished anything yet. They have to play just as hard as they did last year, especially on the defensive end. If they win a couple series this year and they sort of feel what the postseason's like, and now you're playing for May and June, that's when I think you scale back a little bit during the regular season. This team hasn't accomplished anything.
I'm going to tell you that you have to keep guys hungry, and so I think Lopez being able to come in and spell Garrett, and then I think the addition of, you know who's been playing well, really in limited minutes? Dean Wade's been doing okay.
Yeah.
Dean Wade has
Hit some
been
big
doing
shots
okay.
last night.
And here they have Okoro And they haven't even yet to play Stevenson yet.
Yeah.
So these are the defensive-minded guys that I see, right? Because you're going to need that punch.
Well, Okoro's certainly not doing anything on offense.
Oh, no, he couldn't hit the side of the barn.
He's scared. I didn't see yesterday's game. I was flying home, obviously. I did want to get up this morning to watch it. It just didn't. I had a horrible night last
figure out
night.
who was arguing in the Browns locker room, but go ahead.
So I did not see yesterday's game, but what I saw from Okoro the game before, he don't want to shoot. He wants nothing. He is, and he's doing what we said. You stand in the corner and you wait for the ball.
Well, then you
He's
can't play
doing
him,
that,
right?
But no, when he gets it, it's one of these.
So then why-
as
then
soon
why
as
is
it
he
comes,
playing?
it's gone.
Well, he wouldn't be the first guy that couldn't shoot the ball.
He got to work his way into
But I
it.
would hope.
He wants
I would,
no part
I
of
would
that
have
shot
hoped
right
that
now.
this summer, listen, you playing at the two positions, you have to stroke the ball. You have to hit some shots, right? Because now it's just like Westbrook the other day. Like they backing
They're playing
up
4 on 5.
Like
They're playing 4 on 5 when
You're,
he's
you're
on the floor.
handicapped from the beginning, right? And that's what's going to do is limit your minutes.
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
when people figure it out, leave him alone.
And
We're
listen,
gonna
you've got enough weapons on this team. Isaac Okoro is not your concern. But I did feel like starting him would at least have enough talent around him to where he would get those shots. But right now, he wants no part of those shots. So you got to figure that out.
I look at it, and I think somebody was saying it. They're not going to be able to win no championship or make no real crazy noise unless Mobley figures out, okay, how this work for me? Because he's still kind of figuring out, okay, do I get my shots here? Then Garland is out, so it's less of a facilitator. Donovan Mitchell's been doing a great job of doing that, but he does it in a different way. Just his athleticism, the way he goes about it. And sometimes I see Mobley kind of thinking, okay, what positions and parts do I get my job? Does JB need to call more plays for him?
No,
is he going to get it in the flow?
I think he'll find out in the flow that you have to have everybody together, right? Because everybody's going to learn a different way. All you're seeing out of Donovan Mitchell is basically this. Donovan Mitchell has brought his Utah game to Cleveland. The same thing he's doing
He's
now.
had to.
Right.
Exactly what he was doing in Utah.
But once Garland's out there,
Yeah, so
he
when
can
Garland's
pull
out
back.
there, so now I don't have to work that hard, right? So now I have to work that hard because Garland's not here.
Right.
So I got to make up this, I got to take over this thing. Because the one thing you saw yesterday was, Garland's a much better ball handler than Donovan Mitchell is, by far, right? You can put the ball in his hand, don't have to worry about it getting stripped, right? I can come to Mitchell and say, okay, get me a bucket, right? And then that gives the bandwidth for Mobley to expand his game. Mobley played last year like he was at USC. He knew what to do, right? Now people have figured out what that USC game looked like. Now, what did you do in the summertime to advance your game, right? Can you put it on the floor? Can you defend some of these people? Can you stay out of foul trouble? Can you show me you can hit this jumper, right? That's where we're at now.
Early on, it seems he's added some things to his repertoire, particularly low. I thought his footwork last night was great. He made some moves where he lost defenders and got an open shot off of his move. And I don't know. I know it's early, but I like the Chicago. I would hope we have more games like the Chicago one than the Toronto and the Washington ones.
Tight.
Just on effort alone.
I'll tell you what.
You can coast.
Jared Allen's effort. Oh my God. This was
Such a hustler.
He blocked dunks now, too.
He don't care.
He's a freak.
He's
don't care.
He's like Delhi with size and talent.
Delhi's motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delhi's motor with size. By the way, you look at the top 4 picks, like a lot of times in the NBA draft, like there's a bunch of busts even in the top. But look at the top 4 picks in last year's draft. Cade Cunningham looks phenomenal.
Yeah, he does.
Jalen Green looks phenomenal. Evan Mobley looks phenomenal. And Scotty Barnes, who went 4 to the Raptors, looks phenomenal. All 4 of those guys look like they're going to be great players.
Yep.
You don't usually see that, all 4.
But it was known, like it was believed to be a pretty deep draft with a lot of top.
And it's
and
panned out.
talent.
None of those guys
And
look.
it's panned
They all
out
look
that
really
way.
good.
Mikey, what do you got?